You there, kid! Help me take this Pokemon out! It's trying to eat me! Where are you going? Come back! Yeah, I would like to buy 20 Pokeballs. There's a shiny Pokemon trying to eat my professor alive right now, and I want to catch it. Oh, that's wonderful. Well, here you go, kid. Have fun. Wow, thank you very much. Wait, you forgot your 2 Premier Balls because you bought 20. Oh, he's dead. What is going on, guys? This is Dobbs here, bringing you another Pokemon video. And in this video, I'm gonna go over 10 Pokemon that you would rather not encounter. Sort of like a sequel to my top 10 Pokemon that you would rather not evolve video. But before we start, I just wanted to say this video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends again. And if you don't know what Raid Shadow Legends is, it's a story-driven mobile RPG collection game that has nearly 10 million players worldwide. And this growth has only happened in the past 6 months, so it's really going off. And since the last time Raid sponsored a video, they added a few new features that are pretty cool. They added the highly anticipated Faction Wars and also a brand new reward system for new players. So basically you get a daily prize for every time you log in for the first 90 days. And just like last time, my favorite feature is still the champions because they're just highly customizable, there are so many of them to collect, and it's just cool to diversify what you play with. Not to mention that you get artifacts to add onto your character. And with over 300,000 reviews with almost a perfect score in the Play Store, this game has got to be good, right? So if you want to claim 50,000 free silver and a free epic champion as part of the new player program, be sure to download the game through my link in the description. And guys, just by using my link to download the game, you are helping me out tremendously. But yeah, this is available on iOS and Android, so be sure to download the game through my links down below in the description. So yeah, with that said, let's get started with the video. Number 10. Now starting off this list is a Pokemon that we all have encountered and just hated it. And I'm pretty sure 99% of the people who are watching this video would rather not encounter this Pokemon. So with that said, for number 10, I chose a Zubat. Yes, a Zubat, the notorious Pokemon who is famous for not the right reasons. And if you're an OG Pokemon player like me, the first time you probably encountered a Zubat was probably in Mount Moon. And back in the Red and Blue days where it was just complete savagery, you weren't able to buy repels, so you just had to deal with these wild Pokemon in Mount Moon, especially the Zubats. Now the reason why I chose Zubat for this list is because one, it's relatable to everybody, everyone has experienced an annoying Zubat. But more importantly, for number 2, I wanted to share this little trick that speedrunners use to avoid wild Pokemon in Mount Moon, especially the Zubats. Now, if you didn't know, manipulation is a huge thing in speedrunning, especially in the early games. It basically comes down to inputting specific commands and movements in order to get a specific outcome. And in Pokemon Red and Blue, the most complex manipulation basically in all speedrunning is used to go through Mount Moon without any encounters. That's how much speedrunners would rather not encounter Zubats. And it starts in Route 22, so you're literally going through Viridian City, Route 2, Viridian Forest, Pewter City, Route 3, and then finally Mount Moon in order to achieve no encounters for the most optimal speedrun. So it's basically 15 minutes of manipulation to not get any Zubat encounters. And if you want to learn more about this, you should definitely check out the video I did with Gunner Maniac where he explains in depth on how to do this crazy manipulation. But yeah, for those reasons, I chose Zubat for number 10, but it only gets worse from here. Number 9. Now this next Pokemon can ruin countless hours of battling, and you definitely don't want to encounter this one. So for number 9, I chose a Battle Frontier Shedinja. Now in the Pokemon Platinum's Battle Frontier in the Battle Hall facility, you are able to choose just one Pokemon for the entire challenge. And how this facility works is pretty different from the rest of the Battle Frontier. You see, instead of renting a Pokemon, you just choose your own for the entire facility. And in the Battle Hall, you have the advantage of choosing the type of trainer you want to face. So for example, you can choose to battle a Fire-type trainer if you're running a Water-type Pokemon. But it gets a lot more complex because in order to face the Frontier Brain, Argenta, you have to win 50 battles in a row with the same Pokemon, and that's only for the silver symbol. To get the gold symbol, you have to win 170 battles in a row and fight every trainer at its max tier. And every time you beat a trainer, they go up a tier up to 10 times. And probably the most terrifying trainer would be the Ghost type trainer because it has a 1 in 4 chance of having a Shedinja for the first 2 battles. And well, if your one Pokemon that you're using doesn't have a super effective move for the Shedinja, you are pretty screwed, because that Wonder Guard will just tear up the countless hours that you put into the battle hall. So if you're trying to get all the gold in the battle frontier, you should definitely prepare for that Shedinja, because it's definitely a Pokemon you wouldn't want to encounter when you don't have the right moves to destroy it. And that is why it is number 9 on this list.
Number 8.
Now this next one is going to be short and sweet, but you definitely don't want to encounter this Pokemon because it would just be awful. So for number 8, I chose a shiny Poochyena. Now imagine yourself, you just bought Pokemon Ruby or Sapphire and you're about to go save Professor Birch from the Poochyena. And then suddenly you encounter it and what do you know? It's a shiny Pokemon. But you can't catch it. You have to kill it with your new starter Pokemon that you just obtained. And after that, for the rest of your life, you have to remember how you had to kill a shiny Pokemon because you were forced to. That would be something that none of us would want to experience. But you know, there is something worse than encountering an uncatchable shiny Poochyena. And I'll just show you. Here, check this out.
Are you kidding me? He found a shiny Rolls! Are you kidding me? First Pokemon he ever finds on his journey. Shiny Rolls.
Yeah, that would just completely suck, and the funny thing is, Worcester is doing a speedrun in this video, so the shiny animation will just waste time throughout the whole speedrun. So it's like double the amount of salt to the wound. But yeah, those two Pokemon are definitely ones that you wouldn't want to encounter, and that is why they are number 8 on this list.
Number 7.
Now, if Pokemon existed in real life, you would most definitely not want to encounter this one. So for number 7, I chose Inariados. Now guys, out of all the Pokemon, Inariados just might be the most sinister. And if you're an arachnophobe, this is definitely a humongous nope. So with that said, according to his Pokedex entry, it shoots out an invisible web at its prey. And once its invisible web latches onto the prey's thigh or something, it just lets it go free. But after a few hours pass, it will literally follow its invisible web to its prey's home and devour its latched victim and its friends. So if you're walking down a park and you see an Inariados in a tree, you better check your body because it will find you and devour you and your friends. It's a complete savage and kind of a freak. So watch out, Pokemon goers, because the Inariados is probably following you right now. And that is why Inariados is number 7 for this list.
Number 6.
Now, if you don't want to be humiliated, this is definitely a Pokemon you wouldn't want to encounter. So with that said, for number 6, I chose a resort area Magikarp. Now, if you didn't know, the highest level Pokemon to ever exist in any Pokemon game is in the resort area in Pokemon Platinum. And just guess what that Pokemon is. Yes, it's a level 100 Magikarp. Now, there really isn't any explanation on why the Magikarps in this area are so strong, but in all likeliness, it's probably due to the fact that the resort area is known as a peaceful place. So no trainer or Pokemon have really messed with the wild. But I'm sure if a Pokemon trainer like you or me came around and messed with these Pokemon, this would most likely be our interaction. Oh, it's just a Magikarp. Wait, what?
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Now that's definitely something that none of us would want to experience. Getting bodied by a level 100 Magikarp with Flail would be just an epic fail. And to put it simply, that is why it's number 6 on this list. A level 100 Magikarp is something that none of us would want to encounter, especially since you can't even evolve it.
Number 5.
Now, if you're a shiny hunter, this is a Pokemon you probably don't want to encounter because it would be awful. So with that said, for number 5, I chose a male shiny Combee. Now, if you've watched my top 10 rare shiny Pokemon video, you know a female shiny Combee is one of the rarest Pokemon of all time. And if you don't remember how rare, there is actually a 1 in 327,000 chance of encountering a female shiny Combee every 6 hours from one honey tree. So yeah, it's pretty rare. Now, the reason why you wouldn't want to encounter a male shiny Combee is because, well, it wouldn't be able to evolve into a Vespiquen, and you'd be stuck with a 1 in 40,000 chance of a Pokemon, which is still not that bad, but at the same time, I would be pretty salty. But I have to give props to a YouTuber known as ShinyTwins178 for continuing to shiny up for a female shiny Combi after encountering 3 male shiny Combis. It took her over 20,000 soft resets to finally get her female shiny Combi from a honey tree, which is just crazy awesome because that means she has one of the rarest shiny Pokemon to ever exist. So a huge congrats to her, even though it happened like 2 years ago. But yeah, if you're an avid shiny hunter, this is definitely a Pokemon you wouldn't want to encounter, and that is why it is number 5 on this list.
Number 4.
Now, we've all played Pokemon Nuzlocke, and there are Pokemon that you just don't want to encounter when trying to beat the game. So for number 4, I chose the Reggies. Now, these Pokemon are probably the most trolliest Pokemon ever when playing a Nuzlocke, because all they do is explode when you encounter them. They really don't care. If they're in Route 1, they explode. If they're in Victory Road, they explode. If a trainer has them, they'll probably explode. Every time I encounter one of these shits, they just want to ruin everything. So that's why they're number 4 on this list. They're a legendary Pokemon that you just don't want to encounter. And I would just love to hear y'all's stories about Pokemon that you lost in Nuzlocke to. Definitely leave some stories down below for me to read, because it would be fun reading y'all's tragic Pokemon stories and just cry with y'all. I think for me, one of the most savage Pokemon that I lost my Nuzlocke to was a Ghost type Pokemon in Gen 1. I had nothing to hit it with, and it had nothing to hit me with, and we just kind of sat there until one of us fainted. And the funny thing is, trainers don't run out of PP in the Gen 1 game, so it was just me just stalling out myself until I fainted. Yeah, it costed me an entire Versa series, so I was pretty salty. But yeah, anyways, the Reggies are definitely a group of Pokemon that you don't want to encounter, and that is why they're number 4 in this list.
Number 3.
Now, if you're a VGC player, this is definitely a Pokemon you wouldn't want to encounter in a battle. So with that said, for number 3, I chose a Shadow Tag Gothitelle. Now, I was pretty shocked to find out that Smogon almost banned Gothitelle from the Uber tier. And if you didn't know, the only Pokemon that has been banned from the Uber tier is Mega Rayquaza. And you know how OP that Pokemon is, so it's saying a lot that Smogon almost banned this Pokemon. Now, the reason why Gothitelle almost got banned is due to his hidden ability, Shadow Tag, which is an ability that traps the opponent's Pokemon so they can't switch out. And well, according to a lot of competitive players, Shadow Tag just takes no skill to use. It's no risk, all reward. Because when you look at Pokemon battling, it just boils down to switching Pokemon, bringing Pokemon out, and just fighting with them. And when you take one of the fundamental mechanics from Pokemon battling, it's just not balanced. And that's what exactly Shadow Tag did. So they were just kind of stuck with the Pokemon they had out. And here's an example. Let's say you bring out your sweep Pokemon like Charizard Y to sweep the entire opponent's team. And suddenly they bring out their stall Pokemon like Chansey to counter it and wall it. Well, all you gotta do is switch to your Gothitelle and trap it and destroy it, and then go back to your Charizard to sweep the rest of the team. It just took no skill, no risk, and all reward. It was just completely unbalanced. So because of this, Smogon decided to ban Shadow Tag and not Gothitelle. Because you gotta admit, it would have been pretty funny and weird seeing Gothitelle banned from the Uber tier with Mega Rayquaza. But yeah, if you're a VGC player, this is definitely a Pokemon you don't want to encounter because it would just make you very salty. And that is why it is number 3 on this list.
Number 2.
Now, this is kind of a meme, but you don't want to encounter this trainer or her Pokemon because it would be very bad. So for number 2, I chose MesamcCargo. Now, I'm going to put this plain and simple. If you encounter MesamcCargo, you will not live. You would just get obliterated in seconds. Because according to his Pokedex entry, it is 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 2 times hotter than the sun. So literally when Macy calls out McCargo, you would just vanish instantly. And I low-key think Macy from the Pokemon anime is the devil, because there's no way she could live through a McCargo's heat wave. Like, if Pokemon was realistic, this is what actually would happen. I choose you, McCargo! Yeah, and that is exactly why you wouldn't want to encounter MesamcCargo, or any McCargo for that matter. And that is why it's number 2 on this list.
Number 1.
Now for number 1, the Pokemon that you absolutely don't want to encounter is the Fisherman's Alakazam from Pokemon Stadium 1. Now, if you've watched my top 10 hardest Pokemon battles video, you know this Alakazam is a monster. And the reason why he's a monster is because he's in the Pika Cup in the very last battle with the Fisherman. And if you watched my previous video, you know the fisherman is no joke. Because basically, in order to beat the fisherman, it just boils down to luck. You just have to get extremely lucky that he doesn't bring his Alakazam, because if he does that, you just lose. And with his Dragonair, it's just a completely different story. Just go watch my previous video and you'll see why. But the reason why these two Pokemon are just so broken, especially the Alakazam, is because they're 5 levels above your rental Pokemon. That's like battling a level 100 Pokemon with a level 75 Pokemon. It's just completely unbalanced. And just to put this battle in perspective, the world record holder for the Pokemon Stadium games, Worcester, the speedrunner that you saw earlier with the shiny Ralts, attempted the fisherman 50 times in a practice run, and guess how many times he won? He won only 3 times out of the 50. The world record holder, 3 times. So yeah, in the end, the only way to beat the Pika Cup in Pokemon Stadium 1 is just to get lucky that he doesn't bring the Alakazam. Because if he brings out the Alakazam, it's just a straight up loss. So it's definitely a Pokemon you wouldn't want to encounter. And that is why it is number 1 on this list. And there you go, the top 10 Pokemon you would rather not encounter. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like if you did, because I appreciate it a ton. Also, if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe, because I upload pretty frequently now, being a full-time YouTuber and all. And don't forget to ring that bell, because that notifies you even more. And if you want to be even more awesome, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and even on the Amino app, because all those platforms are super cool. And also, don't forget to download Raid Shadow Legends using my link down below in the description, because it helps me out a ton. And finally, for the question of the day, what Pokemon would you rather not encounter? Be sure to let me know down below in the comments, because I'm going to read those comments and reply to them and be like, whoa, that's crazy. And yeah, that's all for this video, and I will see you guys next time. See ya!